Hey, how's it going, Rasmanites? Wow, you're probably looking at that title and going, do my eyes deceive me? Can it be true? Well, yes, it is true. And I'm going to explain why the very long delay. And of course today, as the title says, we are finally going to talk about Dollhouse Season 1, Episode 6, Man on the Street. Today, on the Rasman's Reality. Alrighty, so obviously before I can delve into the review, I have to talk about why it's taken so long to finish this episode by episode breakdown of Dollhouse Season 1. Well, originally it was because I thought for the second half of Dollhouse Season 1 that I would be joined by a special guest, that being none other than Civilian Snowman. Well, the timing for the two of us and the ability for the two of us on two separate cameras never really worked itself out. So hopefully we will be able to still work together on a future project. But that was reason number one for the abnormally long delay, is I just kept putting things off, trying to work things out with Snowman, and it just never materialized. And quite frankly, the other reason was that other stuff just kept coming up that was more relevant to the time frame in which I felt like I needed to discuss it, so I chose to discuss it. But I never intended ever on not finishing this series, and as such I am proud to be able to now finally get back around to it. And for those of you that are new subscribers, because I'm proud to say that I now have a lot more subscribers than I did when I started the series on Dollhouse Season 1. The easiest way for you to catch up is to go to the playlist on my channel entitled The Dollhouse is Real, and all of the videos pertaining to this series, its two-part unboxing, its overall spoiler-free review, and all of these episode-by-episode breakdowns are all located in that playlist, so just simply go there and click on it and you'll be good to go. I also need to, for those of you that haven't seen this series before, I need to make the quick disclaimer that if you've not seen any of Dollhouse before, you do not want to watch these episode-by-episode breakdowns before you see the show, because that is exactly what they are. They are breakdowns of the episodes. So with that, after a long intro of explanation, let's finally get into Man on the Street. Dollhouse fans will tell you that Man on the Street is where Dollhouse properly began. And what they will mean by that when they say it is that everyone knows that Joss Whedon, through the entire run of the show, was in a battle with Fox about what the right way to do the show was. And it wasn't until episode 6, Man on the Street, that Joss Whedon was finally able to produce the show that he wanted. And it shows. The plot line to this one is as follows. The reason that it's named Man on the Street is because you see men and women on the street being interviewed about whether or not they feel the Dollhouse is real. And now you know where the name of the playlist came from. In those interviews, some are adamantly saying that the Dollhouse is real, some are not. But you see public perception of the Dollhouse. Later on, you're privy to Echo's latest mission, which is to be the latest doll in a line of yearly dolls for a man who every year brings a doll to his house to try to recreate the love of his life, who was tragically killed in a car accident. Detective Paul Ballard has succeeded in his mission, or so he believes, and he's finally tracked down what is obviously a Dollhouse client in this rich billionaire. And he tracks the doll down when she comes to this mission of recreating the great love of his life. He doesn't know what it's about, but he's tracked Dollhouse activity to this because he sees that it's a yearly thing at the same address, knows it has to be the Dollhouse at work. He is very surprised to find Echo there. Echo, of course, being Elijah Dushku. And, of course, he has been obsessed with Echo, or Caroline, as she's also known, throughout this entire series. So this is where the two worlds collide, if you will. So, at that point, Paul Ballard is thrown for a loop, and he starts to really confide more and more into his neighbor, Millie. And their relationship truly blossoms into a real romance. Well, the Dollhouse determines that Millie is now a liability, so she sends the handler of the doll, Sierra, who was proven to be a rapist. She sends him to take out Millie in order to redeem himself to the Dollhouse. Or at least that's what he and we as viewers are led to believe. Instead, what happens is that Millie is called upon by the head of the Dollhouse, who, I apologize for some bizarre reason, the character's name is escaping me at this point, so look at overlay, because there it was on your screen. She calls her and she says to Millie, there are 3 flowers in a vase. The first flower is green. It was a coded message, that line, and it was the most powerful line in the series, because upon hearing these coded words, Millie snaps, goes all kamikaze, and proceeds to take out the rapist handler, who again, I forget his name as well, so look the overlay for his name. But she takes him out, and we learn that Millie is a doll. So everything goes all topsy-turvy in this series. We learn, in this episode rather, we learn that people are aware of the Dollhouse, although some people believe it's a myth. And we learn that Paul Ballard is closer than ever to discovering the Dollhouse, but that his trusted neighbor and newfound love, Millie, is in fact a doll in disguise. So this is a great episode, and like I said, this is the launching point to where the series actually got off its feet and actually showed its true potential. The first 5 episodes, as much as I hate to admit it, being a big fan of the show and a huge Joss Whedon fan, the first 5 episodes of season 1 are a real drag, and they look like boring episodic television. However, as I said, when you get to Man on the Street, that is where your real meat and potatoes are. With that, I am planning to do this series, the remainder of this episode by episode breakdown on season 1, as much in succession as possible. It will, of course, be broken up on Tuesday by the State of the Cincinnati Bengals Address series, and it may be broken up by any birthday packages that I might receive, or any early gifts that I might receive from family, as my birthday is on November 13th. But barring any of that, the rest of the series will be completed as much as in succession as possible. So you can look forward to that if you're a fan of my reviews, or Dollhouse fan, or both. This is reality according to the Razman. And Razman style, it's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.